Hello everybody. In this video, what I want to do is demonstrate to you sort of the power of Dremio being able to connect many different sources. So in this particular Dremio account, so you see here, I have this running off my laptop and it's connected to a cloud source in the case of Snowflake. So here I have my Snowflake account and you can kind of see the activity in the Snowflake account, and you can see that I have a database called Cloud Data, and in that Cloud Data database in the public schema, I have a table called name or names. Okay, so I have a table called names here, and then on Minio, which I have stored, which is running off my laptop, so technically it's on-prem data. So this is essentially an on-prem data lake. Here I have a iceberg table known as hobbies stored on here, and here you can see like the iceberg metadata, and you can see now I have this iceberg table cataloged by Nessie here on Dremio. So see, I have a Nessie source connected. And in that Nessie source, if I were to click right over here, click settings, you can see here that it's configured to point to my Minio. Okay. And that's basically where the storage is being handled. And the catalog is also running on my laptop using a Docker container. Okay, so essentially I have a on-prem table in form of hobbies, okay, which has a list of possible hobbies with an ID attached to it. And then I have the Snowflake table, names. And you see here, I'm querying it from Dremio. So if I run this query right here, okay, I ran that query, that was pushed down the Snowflake, and I should be able to see that in my history of queries that just came in. So let's see here. Yep, and then there it is. Okay, so there the query. So the query has come in using Snowflake consumption. Wonderful. Now, the great thing about this is that this allows me to take my Snowflake data and be able to join it with on-prem data and be able to basically enrich it with data sources that I wasn't able to before, or take data I have in Snowflake and enrich other data sets in ways that I couldn't before without having to move the data itself. So let's actually just run an example. So let me just go over here. I should have the query right over here. Well, I had it over there. Okay, well, we'll just rewrite it. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a join on these two tables. So we're going to say, hey, I want to select n.name. That's going to be the name from the name table. And I want to get h.hobby. That's going to be the hobby from the hobby table. And then, I could type out the namespace, but what I can do here with Dremio is I can go over here, find the table that I want. Here's names. I can just drag and drop it right in there. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Okay, from snowflake.clouddata.public.names. I want to join it with nessie.hobbies. And then again, I want to make sure I give these each that pseudonym, so that way that first part works. So as n, and this is going to be as h, and then I want to join them where n.id equals h.id. Okay, so now I'm going to run this query that's going to join the two tables. And ta-da! Okay, I've now joined the two tables. I've now matched the names that I have in the names table with hobbies I have in the hobby table. So you can imagine data sets you might have on-prem being joined with data sets you have in Snowflake. Okay, and if I go over here and I go back to my monitoring, in Snowflake, I can see, hey, there's that query that just kind of came in. Okay, so we can see that came in at 9:52. Okay, now a cool thing you can do in Dremio, so this might be useful as you get like larger and larger tables or for certain use cases, particularly with like BI, what I can do is something called a reflection. So what I can do here is like, let's say I'm going to do this join a lot. I don't necessarily want to run the logic for that join all the time. So what I can do is first I can save this as a view. So I'll save this as a view. We'll call this, names and hobbies. So names and hobbies. And the cool thing is that iceberg views can actually be, or views in general in Dremio can be saved in your Nessie catalog. So I can just go here in my Nessie catalog. I can create a folder. I'll just call it views for now. Okay, so that'll be the name of the folder. And then in that folder, I will save this names and hobbies view. Okay. So now I have this object that's just a view. Again, it's just basically SQL that's saved under a name, and I can just run it. So I've actually, and then right now I see the full SQL, but if I just want to see it kind of as a name, I can just go back, look it up here, see if there's views, click names and hobbies, and see like basically it's treated as if it were its own table. And see I'm running that query. But running that query there, it's still a view, so the underlying join still ran. So I can go back over here, and then I can see that there should be a new query. There you see, 953, the query came in. Now what I can do with this is I can click over here where it says edit. Okay, that's going to take me to this screen right here. And we have this feature called reflections. As you can see here, we also have buttons to quickly just take whatever data set you have curated in here and load it into Tableau or Power BI. So now I can go in here and I can turn on raw reflections. So raw reflections would be used if I just really wanted to materialize that raw result of the join. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm just going to literally just save it. Okay. And then you can see here it created a quick foot, and there you can see the size of sort of the materialization that was created. Okay, and that was created. So now let's see what happens when I run that view again. Okay, so I'm going to head over to Nessie, take a look at my views, names and hobbies. And now if I run this, okay, it's done. And now so right now it's 9:55. So if I go back to Snowflake and I refresh to see, hey, is there a new compute? In that case, oh, there was, because it had to create the reflection. So I'm gonna give it another second, but actually this is not even, this is just that's not even actually for that query. So in that case, yes, no compute was run for that query. Okay, and again, I can run it multiple times. And each of the times I run this, I'm not using up my Snowflake compute. So in this case, I can curate my data sets virtually, and then, I could reflect what's needed, and I can minimize sort of my compute usage as a side benefit. And again, depending on your particular use case, there are going to be plenty of use cases where you might prefer to just always run that underlying join. Okay. Depending, again, different circumstances. But another cool thing you can do here, so if I go back to reflections, there's another type of reflection here called aggregate reflection. And here it's more like a cube where it's going to materialize the aggregate result. So I can say, hey, I want to materialize by any of these particular fields as a dimension or a measure to optimize for things like count, min, max. And essentially this will then accelerate your BI dashboards. So in this case, instead of building this separate object that you then maintain, I can just turn on reflections. It'll automatically kind of update itself periodically. And then automatically substitute itself when it makes sense, when it sees like group by queries coming in, and you're good to go. You'll just notice faster dashboards when you build them on top of this view. Okay, and any views that get created from this view will also get the benefit from that reflection. Okay, but as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward user experience. I can connect all sorts of different data sources. So as you can see here, I connected an on-prem storage source. So these could be all sorts of different on-prem data platforms, such as Vast Data, Pure Storage, Minio, NetApp, also Hadoop, all sorts of really kind of great ways to kind of store your data in on-prem, and you can join them with cloud sources like Snowflake, and use on-prem or cloud databases you have in like Postgres, SQL, MongoDB. Join all that data together, curate it, and deliver what you need to deliver it. And again, it's not only deliverable through the UI, there is also a REST API to access the data, a JDBC ODBC connection that you can access the data through, a Apache Arrow Flight endpoint that you can access the data through. So it becomes really easy to just pull this data and actually work with Dremio directly from a Python notebook or literally any language that has JDBC, Apache Arrow Flight libraries, or a HTTP client library for you to make API calls. So pretty flexible, pretty robust. Again, you can easily try this out on your laptop through using a Docker container. I have plenty of blogs showing different examples of this. Have a great day. This is Alex Merced, Senior Tech Evangelist at Dremio, and thank you very much.